Yes. Hello and good evening to another series of the FAI World Series 2023. We are right in Germany, and that's why I'm here. I'm Ben Fest, Condor pilot, flying a little bit around the Condor simulation, sometimes real life pilot from Germany as well. Currently living in Düsseldorf. So it's a pity that Agarzell is that far away, and the Alps as well, where we are flying here tonight in the very south part of Germany, close to the Austrian border. I welcome you to this late night soaring evening. um, race. We have a 234 kilometers task, and we will visit some famous German places. For example, the Schloss Neuschwanstein, which is located in Füssen, which we will see on the first leg. And the turn point 3 later on will be close to the Zugspitze at Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and we will end the task in Unterwössen, a typical German airfield for Alp soaring. You can learn or go there and learn something about flying in the Alps. So this evening it's the fifth race of the World Series 2023. Last time we have been in South Africa. We had a nice task flying 375 kilometers. And if I remember it correctly, I will have a look at the race results from the last task, number 4. It was 2 Polish guys leading the pack. Z Zulu Bravo Yankee Jok, sorry, it's really hard to pronounce for us Germans. And Marcin May at the second place, and we got a British guy, Stuart Hanschel, at place number 3. So in the overall standing, it's quite interesting. We got 2 Hungarian guys at the first and the second position. It's Miali Knosch and Thomas Meyer, followed by the Polish guy Marcin May. That's the 1, 2, 3. And fifth task tonight. We fly the 15-meter glider. So we have a JS3, 15 meters, the Diana 2. Maybe someone is flying the DG 808, and we have the Ventus 3. Okay. Let's see if someone's joining with the DG, but for now there's nobody flying the DG. Sadly. Why though? Let's ask. Yeah, I'm alone tonight. That's a little bit of a pity. We haven't found somebody else who's having time this evening, but I will try my best to guide you through this race here in South Germany. Agarzell is a very small, at least it's only the airfield. It's a very small. It's not a village. It's close to Sonthofen, which is close to the Austrian border, south in Germany, and the airfield is north of Sonthofen, and it's named to the nearby. It's like a small village with only like 15 houses or something. So that's very small place, but a nice place. It's where the Alps starts. And if we have a look at our task tonight, what they're gonna have to do is to fly around 60 kilometers to the northeast to Paderzell, where they will be getting out into the flatlands and then going to turn point 2, which is named Benedikt Beuren. And then they will get back into the mountainside areas where we get to Garmisch-Partenkirchen, which is close to the Zugspitze, a known point as well of Germany. and the highest mountain of Germany as well. But they will not reach the Zugspitze at all. They will turn around at turn point 3 and go for a direct route to Unterwössen. The final part will be interesting because from turn point 3 on, it could be a long final glide into Unterwössen. We have southeast winds with 12 kilometers per hour and 30 kilometers per hour, the high winds. If we have a look at our thermals, we got a cloud base of around 2,100 meters, which could get a little bit higher in the mountain areas with moderate thermals. So we expect climb rates between 2 to 4 meters in the hilly areas. Not that much clouds in the flatlands. It looks a little bit rare. If we have a look into Condor right now, let's see how the pilots deal with it. So maybe they need a long glides at the beginning. We start in Agatha-Zell at around 2,000 meters above main sea level, and the pilots are only allowed to fly 170 kilometers per hour while crossing the start line. If you have any question regarding the task or any further question, feel free to ask in the YouTube chat. I will try or have an eye on it, so maybe I can answer your questions or whatever is on your heart this evening. If you have any problem or anything. And I wanted to say sorry for the late flying tonight. I think there was an issue with doing the races around the whole year, so you can only you can only assign your competition with one time, and then you need to change the whole time slots, and that would be a little bit messy because everybody needed, or I had to reassign to a task. And who's in the picture right now is Thomas Meyer, currently our overall second position. Very good pilot from Hungarian. He's flying the JS3 15 meters version here. And that's what I talked about. It's not very easy to reach the thermals as they are quite far away from each other because of the high cloud base. But they're facing some small clouds over there together with our leader ZBY. Yeah, we can do some German teaching tonight as well, so maybe I will drop some German words in between. So I'm sorry for that, but it's quite late over here as well. So most of the people I predict will start quite early, as I said, because it's quite late. So let's see what they're doing throughout the race. And let me have a look if we already have started. Okay, I just heard it starts in 7 minutes, so still some time to go for the pilots to get a brief view into the hilly areas. The wind is quite low for a Condor task, so that will be interesting what the strategy will be. Of course, then first need to get out into the flatlands, but already after the starting line they can use a little bit of the ridge lift, and if they find a good thermal, they are good to go. Furthermore, I think it's a good idea to start quite early because as it gets later, the sun will move towards the west, and with this southeasterly winds, this could get a little bit more serious if you are quite low into the mountains later on. So we will have a lot of pilots participating tonight. That's nice to see. It's 42 pilots joining us tonight, only on this server, of course. There are still some other time slots and other servers, so maybe someone's flying a little bit later, or guys from the USA or anything, they can use the other time slots to fly in the evening or whatever time they want to. And the World Series is there to spread gliding around the world. That's why we are jumping in the sceneries from race to race. And it's very fun to be here in Germany tonight. And I feel, of course, honored to comment with you guys tonight. As I already said, feel free to ask any question you like into the YouTube chat. I will try to answer it. And before the race starts, I want to talk a little bit about gliding in Germany. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to glide in the German Alps or anything, so I'm flying in Langenfeld or at the LSG Erbslö, right in between of Düsseldorf and Cologne. So we have two big airfields around, and our area to fly is mostly the Sauerland and the Eifel. There we have our playground. There are not that much mountains. It's like the Rheintal is always a little bit flat land, and then you have small hills that could go up to like 900 meters above main sea level. It's not that hilly as we see here in our Condor view at Agaterzell or at the southern part of Germany. Other very well-known places in Germany is the Schwarzwald, the Black Forest. They with airfields like Hahnweide or Klippenegg. So very common places to fly in Germany, with a lot of pilots flying in a sportive way. And also pilots more to the east at the Bayerischer Wald, the Bavarian forest, that are typical areas. And of course, where I fly in North Rhine-Westphalia, in the flat lands in between of all these commercial airports. Basically, there are a lot of guys or people flying because of many people living there, and of course they want to want to fly as well. So there are a lot of guys. Yeah, Jarmo Karolainen is having a brief view here over the western part of Agaterzell. You can see the small hills are very, very steep sometimes, especially the south-sided. The south-sided mountains should give good lift tonight or today, whatever you are looking at. And it will be interesting what they are doing, because the margin of between being really low and staying at the top of the ridge is quite low, so you don't have that much time to glide at the mountains. They are only like 1,000 meters high at this part of the, or above ground level, let me say, 1,000 meters above ground level, and you can get low quite easily, especially with this low wind. But yeah, let's see. I think only a few minutes to start, around 3 minutes to start, and then we will see. Oh, it's only 1 minute, yeah. So then we will see the first people departing here. And we have as well people around the world, like here, Stuart Henschel from Great Britain. We have David Redman joining as well, Romeo Echo Delta on the top left right now, who is from Australia. So really nice to have all these guys right here, connected on one server, flying against each other. That's the most thrilling part about Condor, like competing with others and flying the races together. Jerry Beringer, Juliet Echo Sierra. That has a good height now to depart, so if you want to, can make an early departure. But of course, for tactical, if, like it's you can have your own tactic, like going quite early and leaving all the others behind, and flying in front without looking at others, or you can let others pass and fly the first leg and see what's happening. From my experience in Condor, it's like you are always a bit faster if you are behind. And we see Yannis Teteris starting right here. Whoop, perfect start. It's a speed of 160 kilometers per hour ground speed. That's right in the margin and below 2,000 meters. And started in the sector right behind is Tim Madsen from Denmark, following him right now. And what they are doing, they are starting quite south of the sector to get access to the little to the small hills right there. And what these two guys are facing is this small cloud where Mike X-Ray is already climbing on top. It seems like a good climb because you see his the margin between his rings, which only we can see in our view right here. The pilots are not able to see these lines behind the other pilots. And on the top, it looks like a good climb. And if you have a look at Kilo Mike India or Echo Juliet Echo, a little bit lower, they are still struggling to center the thermal. So that will be interesting what Tim and Juliet Tango on the bottom of the screen will do right now. You can have you still have the chance to restart until you get to the first turn point. So if you turn the first turn point, you are unable to restart again. So if the cloud is not working anymore, they rather continue or go for a restart. And it seems not to be that strong, like above. We see a few other guys circling there as well, but they haven't started yet. Our first person at the moment is Juliet Tango and Tango Kilo Mike. And a few guys now following, seeing the opportunity to get to the cloud as well. Normally in Condor, the thermals that are produced with a little bit of ridge lift or supported by a little bit of ridge lift, these are the best ones. So if they get a lucky punch right here, that could be great for the further flight. And Juliet Tango and Tango Kilo Mike, they have found the thermal now and have a steady climb. And now Whiskey Romeo Uniform and James Bond, the 007, they will follow into the thermal as well, after they have started here at Agarazell in South Germany. So the start type is they're starting as soon as they cross the starting line. Their time starts for the race. There's another starting option as well. You can have like a regatta start where everybody's having the same starting time. And tonight it's not a regatta start. They have like, I think, 60 minutes to cross the start line. And as I said, that's like, you can tune in a little bit of tactics if you let the pack depart already, or if you follow behind. There's Arne Martin Gudla, a pilot from Norway, a Norwegian pilot, flying at JS3 15 meters. He has a JS3 as well in real life, so he knows the plane quite well, and I hope he can use this feeling which he has from the real glider tonight here in Condor. Meanwhile, Julie Tango and TKM, they're close to the cloud base now. Steady circles. TKM got a little bit in front of Juliet Tango, not only in front of the circle, but he's now at the same height, and he started a little bit later, so that's for now a win for TKM. But the race is still long. We have 3 turn points to pass. The next one you can already see. It's Paderzell, north of the Alps. And it will get interesting after they have turned the second turn point, as they enter the hilly area once again before they get to the final glide. Some people leaving the thermal to get to the starting line. That's, for example, WRW, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, very, very talented pilot from Poland. Had a lot of races against him, especially in the Grand Prix or virtual sailplane Grand Prix final around 1.5 years ago. And we will meet each other again this summer in the final for the year 2023, end of August and beginning of September. There will be 1 week of flying the real life tasks of the real life sailplane Grand Prix, and we will fly every evening. So he's going for the start as well. The cloud is quite static, so a lot of guys can join this thermal right now. And while the others are still starting and gaining for the first altitude, we have Juliet Tango and TKM leading the pack. They got to the cloud base right now in the mountainside of area. That's perfect thing. What could happen? And right now they're flying with a speed of 220 kilometers ground speed. It's quite fast, but I think they can do it, because they will have a long final glide, and It will increase the MACReady setting at the end a little bit. What you can see in the far back, you see a big lake below the Unterwössen Schrift. And that's the Forgensee, which is at Füssen. And right on the right side of the Forgensee, there's the Schloss Neuschwanstein, which is a typical spot for people visiting Germany. As we get closer, I can show you where it is exactly. And yeah, they're leaving now the hilly area, and that's something very interesting because as they are leaving it, they need to get back in once again later on. And that will be the interesting part of tonight. As we have southeastern winds, they should keep a little bit south of the line. And Gilles de Hond, Gilles de Hand, Gilles de Hand. Well, in Germany we would say Gilles de Hand. Is here for a new cloud, and he's right now north of the line of the first leg. So that's interesting. Has he already started? I think so, right? He maybe saw a good cloud coming up, but he's a bit struggling with centering the thermal right now. But he has something to do for his own. He has his own track. I like to see people trying something else rather than following each other. But these guys here have a good line. There are two clouds towards the turn point, so enough options for now. But you can see it's not that cloudy, so let's see how they end up. They're following now each other. We had small waves right here, so it's really important to get a good line right here, because with the low climb rate in the flatlands, the higher you get into the next thermal, the better you are, and it will take longer for the others to gain altitude once again. So get a good line right here with a little bit less sink, and you were able to see it with Arne Martini at like a variometer of 0.2 meters per second, and Tim Madsen right here flying a straight line, and he's getting down with, now he's getting a little bit up because maybe there's a thermal coming up. And there was a little bit of climb, but around 1.5 meters going down per second. So you can reduce your sink a little bit while finding these lines with good lift. And yeah, we can see a messy little circle at the first cloud. So like everybody used this cloud except Golf Delta Tango, who's in the north right now. And it's a good steady first thermal. And we have like our German pilots here as well, Gerd Bodenhausen, located in the north of Germany, circling here as well, together with some other German pilots. I already saw Uwe and Oscar Neun, who are circling to get up as well, 3 November. So all German pilots flying the real life as well. And Yeah, we have a top view right here. So most of the field has, or most of the pilots have started, and the only guy who's doing something else is Golf Delta Tango, who's in the north right now. It's a very off track, but he must have seen a good thermal over there. I was just trying for another opportunity or another way. But I think the south way is the right way, as they use some of the ridge lift, and this first cloud has been pretty nice so far. Yeah, Jill the Hunt, don't know if it's pronounced correctly, flying the Ventus 3. Very nice plane as well, with the 50 meters wings. I'm not sure, but if I remember it correctly, they have released the 50-meter wings last summer. Could be the summer before already. Well, time flies. Yes. I don't know. I don't remember it correctly, but yeah, there's a 50-meter version as well. But most of the time it is flown with the 80-meter wings, and they have a very the Champion-like style wing form. If you would have a look from above, it's these edgy wings like going. I like that wing shape very much. But yeah, most of the pilots flying the JS3 15 meters in Condor. It has the best glide ratio with the high wing loading. So most of the pilots are flying that small sportive glider. It's very aggressive one. You can turn it very quickly, and it's fun to fly. Definitely can still circle quite nice as well with the 15 meters version. And yeah, people still are quite high, few clouds ahead, and some of them use these clouds, like Christa Seiberg, November Yankee, seeing a little bit of lift right here, but as well it seems like these thermals can be quite narrow, so he has like a lot of climb on one side of the thermal, and on the other side he's getting down. So he's in the third turn right now and still struggling to get the core of the thermal. You can see Arne Martin, who's joining now as well, and that's what I told you earlier about. If you leave quite early, you waste sometimes finding the thermal, and if you can join a marked thermal, you don't waste that time, of course. So for Arne Martin, he has like the first turn and is already climbing the same way like November 2 did, where he took like 3 turns for centering the thermal. That's reproducible on the real life, or reproducible in the virtual sawing as well. And that's the tactical thing you can work with starting late. And if you see if you're coming from behind and see a few guys struggling or not climbing that much, you can just skip the thermal and go for the next one. But of course, it could be that you will be the leader or the test person for the next thermal, for the others then. That's the interesting thing about these tactics. And sometimes I don't like it at that much. I more like these regatta races where everybody starts at the same time. Of course, there's some following things as well, but it's more fun to start at the same time, like the same state of weather for everybody. And we have 9 Alpha, Almantas Sujus, finding a nice thermal here, a little bit south of the line. He's decided to stay longer into the hilly area and is going for a second climb inside the mountain area. Of course, he's taking the detour towards the south, but let's see if it's worth it later. You can see him south 9 Alpha. If he's flying now towards turn point 1, he will cross the Schloss Neuschwanstein, which is at Füssen right now, at the Forgensee. And maybe we can have a look if he's crossing the Schloss Neuschwanstein later. He's entered Australia, yes. He's entered Austria right now, and he will pass Fils and then going for the Schloss Neuschwanstein. Meanwhile, the others just following the blue line, looking for the next thermal, and there are still 2 thermals up ahead and a few guys following right here in the pack. 269er from France, Donna Pierluigi. So good pilot as well. Not only a pilot, I think he's a sailor as well. So he knows how to deal with wind on water and in the air. And right now he's dealing with getting towards the next thermal. He's close to WRW, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey on the right side. And of course a little bit lower, but I think he started a little bit later. So Witold is here going slower and steadier part of the race. Meanwhile, some other guys are really pushing ahead towards the next thermal, and it looks like a good one if you have a look at Echo Druid Echo right now. He's climbing quite well. Let's see what his climb rates are. Yeah, around 2.8 meters per second integrated. It's a bit better as well. 3 meters integrated maybe. That's a good thermal for the next step towards turn point number 1. It's north of the Forgensee here in Füssen, and not that much away from the Schloss Neuschwanstein. Sightseeing spot here in southern Germany. Mostly people coming to Munich and then going for a trip to the Schloss Neuschwanstein. You can drive there by train as well to Füssen, and then going by bus to the Schloss Neuschwanstein. Yes, have a Pollardschlucht. A lot of things to do there, and a lot of activity is over there with parachute pilots or hang gliders. Juliet Tango decided not to have a look to the Schloss Neuschwanstein. He's further north, and struggling a bit here, but it's a climb is okay as well. On one side around 4 and on the other side around 2, and it's the same for Tim, who's again at the cloud base and leaving this cloud right now, and already going for the next turn point. The next leg between turn point 1 and 2 is a little bit more a headwind leg, so I predict most of them try to get as high as possible to the next turn point, and maybe then they will glide between turn point 1 and 2 to not circle in the headwind leg. And I like to see that one here. They went to 3 of 9 alpha. Now over at Füssen, you have the airfield a little bit left of the screen right now. Yeah, exactly. They're in the middle. That's the airfield of Füssen. And the city of Füssen is south of it, more to the mountain area. And the Schloss Neuschwanstein is not exactly in the city of Füssen. It's a little bit more to the right. You have the Forgensee on the left-hand side. And the Schloss Neuschwanstein, it's still a bit more to the north, up. It's a Tegelberg. The mountain that's close to the Schloss Neuschwanstein is a Tegelberg. And right now, exactly in the middle, just above 9 alpha, where the mountain starts, there you have the Schloss Neuschwanstein. The Forgensee is a Stausee, don't know the English word as well. It's fed by the Lech, which is going to Austria as well. And close to the Tegelberg on the right-hand side of the screen right now, where on the foot is the Schloss Neuschwanstein. Now on the right-hand side. And a little bit more to the left, you have the Buchenberg, where a lot of paragliding pilots are flying, as well as and the Tegelberg with northern winds. They can have like a good climb over there and fly above the 2 lakes right here. And 9 alpha showed us this little city of Füssen. And right in the background, you can already see the Zugspitze. It's the highest mountain of Germany, and as well the highest mountain you can see right there. But we will get there later as well. Timo is trying to get the Schloss Neuschwanstein somewhere here. It's difficult to find, yeah. Yes. So thank you, Almantas, for showing us this little area. And we have Tim leaving the pack right now, which is very nice. He has a good climb, tries to stay as high as possible, which is the perfect tactic for now, because he can't do anything else. I tried for a thermal at north of Schöngau. But now it's returning to the line, which is a bit of a detour, and the others were able to see it from behind, and now can just go straight for the next thermal where Tim or Juliet Tango are circling right now. As I said, most of the field will try to stay as high as possible, because they are on a headwind section after that turn point number 1. Of course, it's crosswind right now, but let's see. And Tim already took over Jannis right here. He's way behind, way in front and higher. Has now flown 60 kilometers. of our task of 200, what was it, 230 kilometers tonight. And now he's getting to turn point number 1. Cheers, Tim. Chin chin to our Danish pilot. And cheers to everybody else tonight. As already said, you can still ask questions in the YouTube chat. I will answer them straight away. I have an eye on the chat. It's Eastern time, right? It's an egg in Germany. I is egg. Some educational stuff right now. And there will be Easter eggs this weekend. I've never talked about Easter eggs in Condor, but if you have a good look on the Slovenia 2 map, there might be some Easter eggs as well. I will be interested in if somebody finds them someday. But yeah, I think there's only one of them leaked, but at least there are 3 Easter eggs on the Slovenia 2 map of Condor. Maybe someone can find them and post in the forum or something. Congrats to Tim, who's the first one turning the first turn point. And we have Juliet Tango following him. Current altitude of 1,800 meters above sea level, which is around 1,200 meters above ground level. Getting a bit low on quite right now. I think, but still enough altitude here to make the next turn. But it looks quite blue on the next leg. So on the way to Benedict Beuren, they need to be lucky. I think Juliet Tango will face some of the cloud on the top right now. And yes, exactly. That's the only one on the in between the turn point 1 and turn point 2. 67 kilometers towards the first turn point. And we have a big field following behind Laszlo Orsi. I think a Hungarian pilot as well. Following right now. And now all of them are looking for the next cloud that's building in between these 2 legs. But it seems to be very blue. It's an interesting thing to see. Maybe the later field or the later pilots, they are a bit more lucky. They have more time to come to the next turn point. But I see above Tim, maybe there's a new cloud. I cannot see it. No, it was way far away from Tim. Only cloud at the moment is more to the south of the line, but Tim decided not to take the detour, going for a straight line. Meanwhile, Juliet Tango is deciding for the cloud. And he really has to. Of course, he has still some outlanding fields on this leg, but as we get back into the Alps, not really productive to be low right there. He's slowing down as well right now. But let's see. Maybe we jump a little bit further to the guys who are behind right now. If we can see us standing right there, we have 269er, followed closely by our German team of Uwe and Frank Schwertfeger, the two German pilots. Uwe started his real-life flying season as well. He's the owner of an LS4 winglets with winglets. And he started his real-life flying as well and did the first 500 kilometers this year. I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. I don't remember it correctly, but it's a good pilot, not very used to these flapped planes. But if we fly the club class, he's one of the experts. And we have experts following as well. One of them, Emmanuel Cartier, I think a French pilot, joining this thermal, which has been used by a lot of the pilots as well. David Redman is coming into this thermal together with November Papa X-Ray. Echo Mike, Marcin May, Mike Alpha Juliet as well. Our third place in the overall standing. The climb rates are quite good. If you are lucky and get a good thermal right here, that's perfect for your tactics. So you can have like high turn at turn point 1 and enough time to find a new thermal between turn point 1 and 2 on your way to Benedikt Beuern. Benedikt Beuern. In another educational excurse, little babies, they do a Bäuerchen, like a if they are, then it's called, they did a Bäuerchen. Maybe Benedikt did a Bäuerchen and Benedikt Beuern. I don't know. And now it's the problem for a few pilots getting lower right here. It's like a Steinbruch. What's this in English? I don't know. Stone break. No, it's not stone break. But normally good to produce some thermals, especially over here. But of course the lee of the Alps is decreasing the thermal activity north of the Alps right here. And Nicolas Barat is getting a bit low right now, 1,200 meters above main sea level. It's around 400 meters or 500 meters above ground level, but it looks a little bit lower maybe. Oh, Julie Tang was pulling up. That could be lucky for Zulu, Uniform Zulu right here. He definitely needs this thermal. While our club class pilot flying the J3 50 meters facing for the next cloud. And it's perfectly on the line. So the later pilots get a little bit of lucky. Echo Juliet Echo is the first one to turn in. And he's closely followed by the whole field. And that's unfortunate for Tim as he passed the thermal. And now he needs to re-enter the hilly area, which is quite quite hard at this part of the race. Here's another airfield of Benedikt Beuern. Very small one, surrounded by trees. Looks like a silent airfield. Not much things around. Rather, there are only small village over there. 2 small villages. And Tim is turning at 1,500 meters, still leading the field. So that's very interesting. We will see the overall results later, or the time they needed for their task, as they could start on their own or start whenever they want to. So it's not the first one who's the first one. Maybe someone from behind is the first one. It depends on the time needed for this task. And that's very interesting right now. A few guys circled a little bit. And as you can see at the Kilo Juliet, the climb's not that good. They're struggling to center, and most of the field is leaving straight away. As well, Whiskey, Romeo Whiskey. Most of them getting a bit low right now. They have another option right on the way to Benedikt Beuern. And Mark Till posted a information in the chat. He said famous abbey at Benedikt Beuern. That's where the Kamina Purana manuscripts were found. Yeah, interesting to know. Haven't been there as well. But if I'll have a look here, it's a very nice abbey. Thanks for the information, Mark Till. I hope nobody of the pilots needs to land right there. And if so, they can have a look at the abbey. But I hope everybody is able to see the Zugspitze later. Chris Parson is following the field right here. They are still facing for this little cloud, which nobody really use. Can see them struggling over there to get just a little bit of lift. It seems to be very small, as he's pulling up quite hard and again falling out of the thermal once again. Oi. I can already feel the pressure right there. It's pretty hard right now for all of them. 269 are sitting on top of WDR right here. That's interesting. So he passed Vitold, our French pilot Donna Pierluigi, with a good race here this evening. He's leading out Uwe and Frank as well. and has some good pilots ahead, like Kilo Juliet and Alpha Mike, who are talented pilots as well. And Vitol is a bit struggling tonight, and rare to see from him, but a good chance for the others. Make a good turn and then go for Tim to enter the southern part again. They will go a little bit south to Tango Kilo Mike right now, and then they pass the Kochelsee and pass over to the Weichensee, where they will re-enter the hilly area. That's the two lakes you can see on the top right now. It's a very, very tree occupied area. A lot of forest right there, not that much outlanding options. So if you're getting stuck there, not have that much options. As soon as you get into the Tal at Walgau, a little bit south. So a lot of trees right there. So it's important to get the cloud right now, otherwise you can get stuck. And maybe have a look at the Benedikt Boyan Abbey later on. So, but the field is combining right there at this thermal. Very important to use this thermal right now as they get into the area with more water, so more humidity. So we need more energy to raise the air, and we see two pilots, not only two pilots, 6 or 7 pilots passing this thermal. And I can hear Oscar Neun's voices inside my head saying something like, "Oh shit, what are we doing?" It's hard to say what to do right now, to be honest. I think what Tim did was the correct way, what I would always do in real life. But if you are in Condor, you can try these things, what the pilots are doing right now. They're going for a straight line. We don't have that much wind, but they're going for a risk. And it's what I said earlier, because the sun is moving to the west. Of course, not the sun is, because the Earth is turning on and so on, but the sun is moving to the west. The southeastern ridges will not work thermal wise, so you won't have that much thermal activity on these areas, especially if it's that humid and forest obtained. But they are climbing, and that's what is important. Of course, yeah, you can see the land out field on straight ahead right now. There's one little part with green straight ahead, so they have another option. But they're climbing, and that's what is interesting. There's no real cloud. It's far away over Garmisch-Partenkirchen already. But maybe they can already get there, and there's a new cloud forming. You can see on the top left right now, if I see that correctly, and that would be perfect for these guys. They can, it's a little bit small one, but there it is. So let's see if they get there. That will be very interesting. And they passed TKM right away, which is very sad because like Tim did a good job so far. Like to see him flying in the front. And he has a good view and a relaxed altitude. November Papa, Betrug. Klappentriebwerk is flying close to the others as well. At the moment, the lowest pilot in terms of altitude. And slowly followed by Uwe. It's a little bit above. They're trying to get everything out of these small hills. But it could get serious for November Papa. Meanwhile, November Yankee, only one letter difference. It's a little bit at the highest part of the moment, but I think these two here, Kilo Juliet and 269, they're currently leading the whole field. They have good speed and speed it up into the front. And they are doing their own thing. Thumbs up for these two. And if they are able to get this new cloud over there, they could get a lucky punch. Could be that they are a bit too low. Yeah. As we are here, seeing these guys struggling, I remember seeing a flight of Klaus Ullmann on WeGlide. He has flown 2,000 kilometers 4 days ago. So if you have a look at OLC or WeGlide, you can see how to fly 2,000 kilometers in Europe this early of the season. I was very surprised seeing this. I have never seen somebody flying 2,000 kilometers in Condor. Maybe some enthusiasts are ready for it now. 2,000 meters is the altitude of TKM right now. He's facing for the next cloud, which maybe only he's able to reach because the others were way too low for this thermal. And if it's a good one, Tim can get back into the front and can go for a much more straight line towards turn point number 3. For me, the much more safe option. I really see what they did there down there and trying to already start their final glide. But they still have 100, or just halfway through. And if Tim is getting this climb, he's lucky and can get in front as well. Yeah, looks okay so far. As well, a little bit of struggling to get the turns right, but it looks okay. The others have a cloud as well in front. Now Frank is going for a straight line here. Nice. Frank da, jetzt mach ja, oh Gottes Willen. Oi, 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 oh no, that's unfortunate. He tried to catch the cloud as well, which is a very good idea. I feel what's going on in his head. And I can hear his voice right now in my head as well. Nee, das mache ich nicht. Das mache ich nicht. But now he needs to go around the corner like the others as well. And I lost a little bit of time there, but it was the right decision to try the cloud. It would have pushed him way in front of the others. But they are facing another cloud as well. So 269 and Kilo Juliet, maybe they have an idea. And if they are able to reach the cloud over there, you can see the shadow right on top of the screen, which is the shadow of the cloud they are facing for. Then that's interesting. And we have Hungarian pilots joining from behind. Laszlo and Sandor. They're joining Tim Sturmel down below, and they're having a good altitude to fly towards Garmisch-Partenkirchen at the high mountains over there, which are perfectly aligned for the southeastern wind at this start of the Eastern weekend. And they are circling with good climb rates down there. Very low safe. It was about 300-400 meters above ground level. And they definitely needed this thermal to get back up. Down there, they are a little bit of struggling, especially in November Papa, who's already November Papa is really struggling right here. No real possibility to land. It's only a small field down there with a few trees on. Let's see if he's able to catch the thermal. He's climbing somehow. Very, very low safe. Only 50 meters above ground level. Guys, don't do that in real life. But you can in Condor. The others were able to catch the thermal, as well Frank and Uwe, who are now on the same altitude as again as Oscar Niner were searching the cloud of TKM back the days, and a few other low pilots joining right now, and as well Nicola Nicato Betrug is going up as well. Nice. Maybe he extended his Klappentriebwerk. Let's see. No, that works fine. So they are rescued, and I think that will shoot them in front of TKM and the others. They are not climbing. No, it's okay. It's okay. They're climbing good. Few guys joining behind, for example, David Redman and Echo Mike, who are going for a straight line towards the next cloud. Oh yeah, we have someone sitting in the trees. The top left, Mike Yankee Romeo. That's unfortunate. Thomas Meyer, our second pilot, made a land out on, I don't know, a street or something. So, yes, it's very interesting, this part of the race right now. Now guys are catching up, and Tim is doing his own thing. I like to see that. That's a big thumbs up for Tim. Going his line, flying his own thing, like he's not caring. And he got cheers from Norman's high vibe as well. Go Tim. Posted in the chat. Go Tim, go Tim. Yes. Fingers crossed. He's crossing the others once again. Maybe his fingers crossed as well at the joystick. But we will never know. 3,000 meters above sea level right now. And they are getting towards the Zugspitze, which is on the top right of the screen. The turn point is Garmisch-Partenkirchen. It's close to the Zugspitze, and the Zugspitze is a little bit more to the left of the screen right now. But we can see the height difference between Tim and the others. So he's right on top of the others. And the Zugspitze is 2,960 meters high. And as I said, the German highest mountain. It is splitted, of course. One part of it is in Austria and one part of it is in Germany. And you can go up there from Germany and from Austria. There are two separate gondolen. The things going up a mountain. I don't know the English word at the moment. And Tim can see the Zugspitze from above at 2,900 meters, only 60 meters missing. And there's Garmisch-Partenkirchen down there. And right in front, the Zugspitze, yes. A little bit left of the sector. But of course, they will turn back to Unterwössen. So they will not reach the Zugspitze at all. And Kilo Juliet is the first one to turn here. Nice golf spot south of Garmisch-Partenkirchen there. Maybe in the summer days. Chew. Down there, 269er, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey. Leading the field together with Kilo Juliet. But what Tim does is pretty good. Going straight line now to Unterwössen. Nothing to worry about at this part of the race. Quite a long final glide. 230 kilometers overall, so they have 100 kilometers to fly. But with this final glide speed, I think it will only be around half an hour. Now the field sees each other as they flying towards the same cloud. So they face each other. Quite interesting in real life, quite dangerous in real life racing if you have turn points like these. So if one part of the pack has already turned and the others are on their way towards the turn point, sometimes can be dangerous. But we have like the Haubenblitzer. Don't know if that's English name as well for it, but it could be like a flashlight in the front of the canopy, and it's connected to the flam, so you can see other pilots or other planes way better at the horizon if they are facing you. And at our club we have put them in most of the planes or in all of the planes where it fitted. And interesting to see the difference this summer. I think it makes a lot of difference because I remember one day like flying quite early and we had a little bit of an inversion and a few clouds coming up, and I was chilled flying the ASK 13, and suddenly 3 sportive planes like a ASG 29 jumped into my thermal, and it was quite late where I saw them because they have been covered by sun and the inversion and these little clouds. And if they face you directly, you're not always able to see them early. There we are on the final glide to Unterwössen. There's a small, right at the end of the final glide, there will be a little hill to pass, but they are flying perpendicular to the wind, so the wind is coming from the south, from the right to left right now, and they're flying here at the little valley towards Unterwössen. But with only 12 kilometers wind speed, it can get dangerous, or you can get low. Let's see what they do in the front right there. The rest is following. Christa Seiberg, closely followed by Uwe and Frank. We're flying at the ridge here, but in a high altitude. I predict Uwe already calculated the final glide with McReady 0. And Christa is going for another option rather than the cloud. Cheers once again. As well in virtual gliding, it's always important to stay hydrated, like in real life gliding. But the good thing about virtual gliding is you don't have to pee into a bag. Well, you can, but I prefer the way to the toilet then. It's not that far to the toilet. But if you are flying right here in the Alps at 2,170 meters, like Krista is doing at the moment, the way to the toilet can be very long. So if you ever imagine what pilots are doing while being in the air and having to pee, there are some different strategies about it. I will tell you in a second or a little bit later. But there's a different strategy by Krista Seiberg as well. He's going to the south, meanwhile the others still to the north, going a straight line to Unterwössen, having a good line, which I would have taken as well, but November Yankee is going to the south and having a different idea. I remember the wind being southeast. If I have a look at the map again, I think both ways will work at the end. What November Yankee is doing, he's flying against the wind, so he will have more, or the wind will come straighter to his mountains later. It's always hard to explain as well in German, but if you are sailing, you say you make height against the wind. So he's doing height against the wind, and then has another chance to fly back to the north with this southeastern wind. Do you understand what I mean? Maybe not, but maybe yes. And you can see the difference. Like the low flying pilots, they can maintain their altitude and go up a little bit. And Tim up above theirs, slowly, but still not wasting his altitude, but still losing altitude. So they will come together closer at the end of the ridge. So if you're flying at the Grad of the ridge, where the ridge ends, I would say, or at the top of the ridge, that's what I want to say, and flying fast right there, you will always be faster than the guys that are flying above you, or at the same speed as the guy is above you. Then you are faster than the other guys, because at the end of it you will be at the same altitude, and that's what we will see later as well. The low flying guys getting more energy off the ridge, except Tim is finding some little small waves that are producing right here, but the mountains more to the south, they don't seem to be in a good line for any wave building. Well, could be, but I predict it will be a little bit disturbed, maybe. Yeah, Tim is still feeling a little bit. He's one of the best pilots in feeling these waves in Condor. It's a very good nose for it. That's a German Sprichwort as well, I think. Der hat dafür eine gute Nase. He has a really good nose for it. Der hat's im Gespür. He's feeling it. And as well, Echo Juliet Echo is a at a good altitude right here, but to be fast, I think you have to be a little bit lower. Of course, it's way more risk, and they still have to pass a few little mountains. But to be fast, you need a bit more lower. And the pack separates once again. The high ones will stay closer to the line, go a little bit to the north, and some of the lower ones are going to the south. Which is interesting, because if you go to the south now, you don't have that much climb on your way to the south, as the wind is pointing more to your nose. But it's good to see the different ways and lines right now. Kilojoule, it needs like 100 meters more or 200 meters more to be at a good altitude for the next ridge. Meanwhile, the others like 269er and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, they're going a little bit to the north. Having good ridges down there, but you can see the mountain they need to pass in front of them at the end of the valley. Need to get above the ridge. But let's see, 269er's good job today. Like to see is flying today. Thumbs up. Doing his own decisions. Flying in front of the others. Really good. And now it's only around 60 kilometers for the guys right here. 50 to 60 kilometers for these first ones to finish. And yeah, that's what I was talking about. Kilojoule needs like 100, 200 meters more to be at a good altitude at the next ridge, and suddenly found a thermal over there, which will be used by Arne-Martin Güttler as well. It's interesting that they do a left turn right there. I would not point into the mountain, but yes, do it safe way like Arne-Martin. Never turn into the mountain. Nicola is following as well. November Papa coming in from the left, our Italian guy, and having an idea about the next thermal. Still low. Remember him being low in front of Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and it's time for being low once again. But he's still flying. That seems like a Betrug for me. No, it's not a Betrug. But he has an idea on what to do next. Maybe get a 6 or 7 meters climb and then go for the final glide. The last 60 kilometers onto Unterwössen. But it seems like the climb is already moved across the ridge over there, so Nicola maybe need to continue, but it's hard because he's way too low for the next pass. Let's see. Meanwhile, the others doing a steady climb here of around 3 meters, close to 3 meters, and having a different circle direction. Normally gliding the first one entering the thermal, or the highest one is marking the thermal direction, or the direction everybody else has to enter the thermal. Of course, you won't enter the thermal into the mountain if the guy above is turning left, like Arne Martin did here. So that's why they are turning in a different direction at the moment. And for the others, it's always hard to join the thermal then. And we have another one cheering up for Tim. It's Guillermo Santana. Guillermo. And he says, go Tim as well. So greetings to Tim Madsen, who's now on the final glide, I think, for Unterwesen, having good speed, and will be the first one to finish this task. But I think, unfortunately, not the fast one, but we will see later on. And Julian asked if the speed in the stream shown on the top left, speed 200 kilometers per hour, if it's the speed above ground, the VMG. And yes, it is. It's the ground speed, and as well the vario is like the vario, the actual climb rate. So if they pull up, they have like 11 meters. That's not the thermal. So that's because they are pulling up. And they're climbing with. Yes, it's not compensated. Yeah. And yeah, we have the average speeds on the left-hand side. They are ordered by the distance to the finish line. So the first one is TKM, which is the closest to the finish line, followed by Kilo Juliet and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey. But we can have a look through the times at the moment. I think the best ones maybe Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, who is already on the final glide as well. A little bit above is Oscar 9, the Frank. And David Redman has a good speed together with Quelle 3. Quebec 3 right behind. So it's interesting at the end. We will see the average speeds again after they have finished. And then, but they are all close together. Nobody's really spread it out like with 150 or 160 kilometers at the moment. But we will see at the end. Oscar 9 is going for the final turns right here, and then going for the final glide as well. Sees the others already departing in front of him, so I'm asking myself why is he still circling, but I know he's a safe pilot. And he wants to get home safe and has a good speed overall, so please continue like that, Frank. So we are halfway through the final glide from turn point 3 from Garmisch-Partenkirchen to Unterwesen. If you still have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat like some other guys did already. Or if you want to cheer for someone like Tim or Frank or Uwe or the other guys, feel free to do so. And the field is split into two. On 1/3 of the leg, we have a few guys going to the north and a few guys going to the south. Most of the first ones were going to the north, where Whiskey Romeo Whiskey are or is right now. And this, a few other ones were going to the south right now. It's interesting to see the field being that splitted. And we jump back here to Kilo Juliet and Anna Martin. We have a next pass to go above. And good pull out by Kuba at this part of the race. On his final glide, only 40 kilometers to go. And Jerome is saying he could cheer up for Vitold, for Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, but he says like he's winning every time, so he better cheer for Tango Kilo Mike for Timki. But of course, we cheer for everybody who's participating tonight. Thank you guys for joining, and I hope you like this flying in the southern part of Germany, the gate to the Alps, as we would say. And it's a head-to-head race with Donna Pierluigi and Vitold right here. Fun to see this kind of racing. If we could imagine like a regatta race, that would be a very interesting final glide for both of them. And I predict we will see some kind of these flights in summer, where we have the virtual Seaplane Grand Prix final at the end of August. So stay tuned for that one. 1 week of virtual gliding and a lot of regatta racing every evening from Saturday to Saturday. Tim Madsen now a perfect altitude here for this final glide on his way to Unterwössen, and we can see there's still something to pass on this final glide. A little flat area, and then you can get to Unterwössen on the right side, close to the border of the image right now. You can see the Wilder Kaiser, a very common ski resort in winter, and a very interesting mountain because it's quite separated from everything else, and it's quite high. It's a Kaisergebirge at Kufstein. It's the city. There's a airfield as well. Flugplatz Kufstein Langkampfen. And it's a common place for German pilots to glide. Kufstein is already Austria, and the German city north of it is Kiefersfelden, which is in Germany. They are only separated by the river Inn, which is going to Innsbruck. And we see these guys competing here. It's around about every meter. Vitold staying close to the ridge, and Donna Pierluigi going weaving a little bit more to the left and the right. That's fun racing. I believe they will have they both have fun flying this at the moment. And fun final glide right here. You can extend it to to the maximum with these planes and with this kind of weather conditions. Yeah, and Arne Martin passed Kuba on this final glide. Very well done. They are both now entering the flat part and then going to Unterwössen. They are at the moment crossing the border from Austria to Germany, and Tim has already crossed the border once again and will cross it right now and get back to Germany as well. It's interesting where they will enter the area of the valley of Unterwössen right now. I believe they will go to the south. And there's a small lake on the small river that is going into Unterwössen then. The Deutsche Alpensegelflugschule. And 269er is going a bit above and a little bit behind on the final glide right here. Like to see these both competing. In front of the Wilde Kaiser right now. They are playing a little bit, saying, hey, here I am. Look at me, above and in front. So nothing to do for Vitor at this part of the race. And Kilo Juliet is passing by Alpha Mike as well. And even if they have took different routes, they come together right now for the final part of the race and will have a thrilling end or thrilling finish where Tim Madsen is already only a few kilometers left for him to finish this 232 kilometers task. Currently average speed of around 149 kilometers per hour. And the fastest of these little pack is 269er. With currently 154 kilometers per hour, a little bit faster than Witold, whom is a bit faster than Kilo Juliet and then followed by Alpha Mike. But ZBY is fast as well. Frank and Uwe again together, following the field, but I think they are not able to catch up with Witold or Donna Pierre. But good speed as well, both of them. Let's see at the end. And really fun for these guys on the final glide. I really like to see this. One of the top pilots competing here. And we have Tim getting to Unterwössen with a good altitude margin. They need to arrive at QNH 800 meters, so he's 50 meters above. No need to think about any penalty or anything like at the last race. So congrats to Tim, who's the first one to start, or the second one to start and the first one to finish this task, not with the fastest speed, but as the first person. Now we can land safely at the Flugschule Unterwössen. Meanwhile, the others battling here for places and seconds. Vitold is following them. And place number 4. And yeah, really interesting to see them flying. Let me have a look where Vitold is currently standing. Yes, only 3 tasks put into the overall results. So he missed 1 task, but he's with a good speed with 1,000 points. He could be on the podium as well. Really nice final glide. Awesome stuff. It's fun to watch, but to be honest, I want to fly this as well. And there we go. Cool. Kilo Juliet going in first to Unterwössen, then followed by Anne Martin. Maybe we can have the speeds again, the average speeds, and then we can see where they end. And yes, Kilo Juliet now finished this task. Congrats to this whole group. Did a really great job. And now they are listed in the correct order. So as soon as they finished, they will get into the right order. And 269er is winning this evening with 159 kilometers per hour, closely followed by Witold Rotzak, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey on the second place. And ZB Epsilon is getting into the 4th position with 155 kilometers. Now the pack of everybody else is entering with the same route right here, 800 meters for them to be above as they enter the finish line. So congratulations for the pilots on a thrilling task and a good decision from 269er after they have been in Benedikt Beuern to go above the little lake and go forth for the low flying. Congrats Uwe, first German pilot into the finish line. 3rd place currently with 156 kilometers per hour. I'm interested where he lost Frank. They will tell me later or tomorrow. Or we can see in the overall result tomorrow. Of course, as I said, there are some different time slots over the world, so that's not only the final result. It will be online tomorrow after every time slot has run through. And who's a good average speed is David Redman and Quebec 3. Currently around 155 kilometers per hour. So they could get a good final result as well. Ik bin auch gleich da. And there we go. Very nice. Yeah, Gilliam, the bottom one is the VMG, the speed above ground. And there's Frank. Congrats, Frank. 800 meters, perfect. Place number 7. And David Redman finished on 2nd, very close to Donapierre and Witold, just pushed himself in between. And we still have Quebec 3 to enter, who's on a good speed as well. Currently 155 kilometers, will race a little bit. So can he get onto the podium as well? And reach for his teammate Witold Rotzak. Oh, he's pull up a little bit early, but okay. And it's the 4th place for Quebec 3. Yeah, and the pilots will enter the finish line. So for now, that was our German task right here. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. We will see the other pilots coming in a little bit longer. And as it gets quite late, we once again apologize for being that late. Let's see if there maybe be a switch for the next race. But more info to come on Discord or on the forum or on the website. So for now, I will thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this little show, and I will drink something, and then I wish you a nice Easter time, a long weekend hopefully, and maybe some good real life flights. The weather in Germany isn't that good, so no real life flights over here. But let's see what the Easterhase, the Osterhase, is it a thing? Like a Easter rabbit? I don't know. What the Easter rabbit brings. Yeah. So thank you very much for tuning in. I wish you all a good night, and congrats to all the pilots for participating tonight, and I hope to see you on one of the next races, rather than flying in real life or here in virtual. Eine gute Nacht, au revoir, and bonne nuit, auf Wiedersehen and goodbye.